Why did codependency become a bad word? Essentially it means two people depending on each other, which should be how relationships work.
I blame therapy speak.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, you're too codependent, or like.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring tea. Yeah.
I broke up 3.5 years ago. Was like a 7 years long relationship. Yeah. I picked chocolate and mint ingredients. Okay.
So you picked chocolate mint donut,
Chocolate and
right?
mint.
So maybe you can talk a little bit more about what's the significance of this chocolate mint donut.
Yeah. My ex-boyfriend was not a dessert person, so there was not a lot of ingredients to pick, but he liked in particular this chocolate mint donut from Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was not my go-to flavor at all when I was a kid. I used to bring him the donuts whenever he felt unwell. And oh my god, I was so young. By the way.
It's okay. I've been there.
Yes. So, and I met him when I was very young, like 17, 18 years old. At that time, we started in a very healthy relationship, very loving. But I got pretty much obsessed with him, I think. I don't know why. And so, obsessed with him, he was like the center of my world. And it becomes a bit ugly. Yeah, so at one point, towards the end of the relationship, I didn't even bother to make new friends, try new things, find out what I really love to do or what I'm interested in. I didn't have hobby at all. I used to not do anything without him. Yeah, so yeah, it becomes unhealthy, not really fun for him and me. So yeah. So it's good that it ended.
So what do you think I'm gonna make for you?
Something with chocolate and mint. Surprise me, yeah.
A chocolate mint donut.
Exactly. I think it's gonna be more than that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me bring out your dessert. Okay.
Can't wait.
Ooh! Wow!
We all get one.
Yeah. Oh my god! We all get one.
Oh,
Pretty. Thank you.
I love this. This looks better than Dunkin'.
Yeah. So based on what you shared with me, my initial thought was like this guy used to be your whole world, right? But now he's just another person in your world.
Yeah.
That's in your own words.
Yeah, that was in my own words.
Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, how do I create, I wanted to create a dessert that you would voluntarily choose to eat. But I also wanted to honor that memory. So I was thinking, okay, I wanted to create a dessert that had an inner world and an outer world. Yeah, so on the exterior, it looks like a chocolate mint donut.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the inside, it's obviously not a chocolate mint donut.
Okay.
It's like a totally different dessert with
At this point, it's not obvious, by the way.
Yeah, so when you cut into it and then you'll see that it has flavors that you shared that you like pistachio. Yeah, so there are 5 different elements inside. The base is this almond dakwa. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing right, but it's an almond biscuit cake layer. And then the main filling is a roasted pistachio mousse. And then there are 2 different raspberry layers. So one is a raspberry jelly, and then one is a raspberry cream. And then right on top of the raspberry, there's a pretzel crunch.
Oh.
Yeah.
So pretty.
I love you.
Most heartfelt, I love you.
This is exactly my brief. Like she asked what I love. About like what I love in dessert. This is like everything I said.
And like if you notice, I didn't even put like the mint flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I would like get a hit of mint like with the green sparkles.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't go well, the dress?
no, I mean, because I think you told me that you didn't even like it in the first place.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like destroy that, you know, just for the sake of. It's a bit more like symbolic, right? If I just add it for the sake of, then it kind of like messes up that world. Yeah.
So deep. I love it.
What was your like first thought when you all both like saw this dessert?
I feel like it's, I don't know, it's borderline funny. It has been a while since I got the chocolate mint donut. Like, oh, hello again.
Do you feel like in a relationship, there's a part of yourself that you don't share with your partner?
No, I don't have any part of me that I keep for myself. Nothing in whatever sense, I think. Like, no hobby, no I remember I was like trying, joining this course, like 3 hours course a week. And all this time, I love the course, but all the time I was like, oh my God, I wish I'm with him right now, spending this, is this a right decision? Like, these 3 hours, I could have used it with him. Have you guys experienced that too? Is it only me? But yeah.
Do you feel like you keep a part of yourself, or is it healthy to like keep a part of yourself apart?
I don't know.
Someone's listening.
I'm two minds about it. I mean, I think there are definitely like parts of myself that I do keep to myself, but I think that's also because like even I'm not comfortable with like acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And if I'm not comfortable like acknowledging that, it's very hard to like put that part of you like even to someone that like who's supposedly like supposed to like love you and like accept you for who you are. And then if you can't even accept that side, it's like, oh my God, how do I like show this side?
Yeah. So I think my, or like where I'm at is like quite close to PL also. That right now I'm in like a long-term relationship, and like I would say like, you know, we share a lot of things with each other, and there's still this part of myself that I know I feel is like pretty untouchable. Sometimes I think about like, oh, am I like withholding information? Am I like really like being as like vulnerable or as, you know, as fully myself in the relationship? But I think for now it's kind of like a little safe nook that I keep just for myself now, and I think as long as I know it doesn't like affect the relationship or like make me feel like, oh, I'm not being true or honest, then I think that's how I'm holding it right now. Yeah.
I can relate.
You read my words about the world and you relate to it. Have you ever had that kind of experience?
Look at you trying to get me to confess. I related in a sense, like, so my previous relationship was like a long distance.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, it was a long distance relationship, and I think for that one I was quite like, I thought it was, I think it looked like healthy on the surface.
Okay, donut, yeah. And then?
Like it looked like, you know, kind of healthy, like with a long distance we meet like every 2 months.
Okay.
Like we can exist independently, like I did my thing here and he did it in his country. And then when we would meet, then it just felt very consuming. Like it slowly became quite codependent, where I was like, oh, like, you know, I put a lot of like responsibility on this person for as a source of like my happiness.
Yes.
Even though I like told myself like I'm very independent, and like
I look like
no,
it
I'm
too,
not.
yeah.
I think I was deeply insecure, like back.
Are
when I
you
was-
me? Am I you? Yeah.
like in Singapore, right? And then it's like, but I thought it was like passion.
Yeah.
Just like,
I
you know,
can
push
feel
and
that
pull.
way.
It feels like wow, passion.
Yeah.
But actually, not
It's
very.
wanting and desire.
Yeah, but
Because your needs are not fully met, right? And then the chase just feels like so all-consuming. It's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Like, why did codependency like become a bad word? Like essentially, it means two people depending on each other, which should be how
I don't
relationships
know. I
work.
blame therapy speak. You know, like you don't be like, oh, you're too codependent, or like,
Really a good thing.
Support you. Like you should be able to like depend and rely on your partner. But I think like like Hyel's right in that we start. I don't know how it came to be, but like your partner needed to like fulfill everything
Exactly. It's
for
like
you.
putting all your money
entertainment,
in
your
one
intimacy.
investment, right?
Yeah.
It's just so risky when it crumbles. Like you got nothing left.
Yeah. Let me say something about insecurity. I think that firstly, I think it's so normal for anyone to feel like worries or, insecurities about themselves, their roles in their lives, their jobs, whatever, especially at that age,
Yeah.
I think when it comes into a relationship, I get, because also that in my previous relationships, when it ended, I thought that I was the one to blame for not being independent enough, secure enough in the relationship. What I learned is that it's because those people don't meet your needs. Those people didn't give you security. And of course, we also have a part to play with whether we're communicating our needs and so on, but it's not on you. I feel it's security. Yeah, because I definitely felt that way too. And then becomes an identity that you take on is I'm an insecure person. I kind of know or maybe I'll just be super anxious, in relationships, or I need a lot of more security. I'm needy in a relationship, whatever. But then that's how, and that has been my relationship patterns, right? So I'm thinking I'm an insecure, needy person. I need someone who is by my side constantly. But then once I met my current partner, and it's I'm the same person. I conduct myself entirely the same way in the relationship, but it's because this person can meet my needs, and I don't feel insecure anymore.
So it's not all on us.
It's no.
Yeah.
I think it's about whether this part, whether they, whether the needs are known and whether the needs can be met. But I think for a lot of women, we shouldn't think we are the ones who are needy or insecure, and it's our fault that. They need to take their space.
Oh my God, I've been very hard on myself then. True.
I really think so. I think you've been really gracious.
Thank you, Cheryl. Oh yeah, that's very true though.
Yeah.
Let it sink in.
Yeah, it's a process. Yeah. Yeah, I think I always saw insecurity as something that I had to fix.
Work on yourself,
before
right?
I come into the relationship.
Yeah.
I
get it.
I'm my own person. I don't need support from anyone. So that's the goal I wanted to reach. But I think after I spoke with my partner about a boyfriend, and We had countless like back and forths about it, and like at one point he was like, you know what, you just need to own that you're insecure and like accept that you are insecure, and that's okay. And I was like, but I don't want to.
Right. But yeah, that's why it's like insecurity becomes like this trait, this like stable trait that you need to like change, right? But it's just like my needs are not met at this current period, and they can be met.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like with any kind of relationship, there's just like a friction-full period. You know, like in Chinese, like this is like 摩擦. Like you need to like have a lot of friction until it becomes like smooth together. Yeah.
Wow. Deep.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we should all look at insecurity differently.
Oh my god. So big.
Oh, wow.
Help.
Is this edible?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh,
What?
I need forks actually.
Whoa.
Oh my god. It's so dramatic.
So like, I mean, based on what you see in
Wow.
front of you, what do you think? What was like your first reaction, or like?
I think my first reaction is like so dramatic. It's like, yeah, the relationship was also like quite dramatic. So it felt like, yeah, that kind of that black hole shrouded effect. But hopefully, like there's a treasure underneath.
So, who is your lost connection?
My lost connection is also an ex-boyfriend from 10 years ago, my first boyfriend.
Okay.
So this was me going to UK for school. I think like at that period of my life, I was suffering a lot emotionally, or like, you know, there was just like a lot of like emotional turmoil in me that I didn't know how to cope with. So the way that I coped was by restricting my eating. So I developed like an eating disorder. The thought that was like seeded was that like I felt like I was too much, and so I wanted to cut back on everything and be like really like just bare bones, minimal, aesthetic, and good. And then, you know, with another person in your life who's like in a way like normal, I depended on him in like a very like, I don't know, like a living, breathing kind of way. Like codependency, like we talked about, was really like dependent on him for showing me what a normal life could be like. It felt like that in some ways, yeah.
Oh, maybe you can share what ingredient you picked.
Oh,
And why?
why?
Yeah.
Caramel, because like one very like strong memory is it was like a fiercely cold kind of fight. Even that short span where I'm just like devastated, not knowing like what happened. I had really good friends, and they would come with like treats for me. Ice cream, dessert, sweet treats, say like, oh, you know, like how like indulge yourself, like, you know, make yourself happy. But they don't know.
Oh.
And you know, to this day, like, don't really know that like I was suffering from an eating disorder. And we opened like this box of fudge, like UK kind of fudge, and it's like these like thick slabs, and you basically like just pinch a bit off, and then you let it like melt in your mouth, and it's just like toffee or like burnt caramel flavor, and the whole thing probably is like, well, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 calories, because it's so sweet. Like, you're supposed to only like eat a pinch of it. I just like demolished the whole thing. I could not stop eating. And I don't really know what was like in my mind at that time. I think it was like I was just so sad. I wanted to like, I was basically like eating my feelings, or like also being like really dissociated from my body in a way. But I think it was almost in some ways like almost like also like feeding myself from being so famished and not eating in like a very long time. I was like, okay, I'll just eat this all up, and I did. So I don't know, it's like a pretty like disgusting but like proud feeling, which is also disgusting that I would feel proud of doing that. Yeah.
So I think when I first read like your confession or your story, like what immediately popped into my head was like extremes. Like, you know, darkness and light. I wanted to create something like big, chaotic. Something that like was very like ostentatious on the outside, but then I wanted it to reveal something quite simple on the inside. And then I wanted to create this like big waves to like illustrate this like chaoticness that I read. And then I think one thing you said in the form was that like right now like when you eat dessert is to like feel free. Like, yeah, this exterior shell was meant to represent that fog, the shadows, you know, that you were experiencing during that time. And then when you like remove it, it kind of reveals that sense of clarity that you have arrived after that experience.
Aww. Yeah, that like really perfectly captures. Yeah.
So like,
how should we eat this?
I mean, you can remove the shells however you want. 2 of them are glued down. So
They're glued down.
Two pieces are glued. One is a bit more, yeah.
Wow.
You're a genius.
What do you use to make these? Is it the
rice?
The rice.
Yeah, the spring
what do you
roll.
call it? The rice king.
Nice.
The spring roll. Yeah.
this Vietnamese.
And then how do
spring roll
you
wrapper.
get the color?
So I dyed it. So once you put it in water, it actually like softens.
Yeah.
And then you can dye it however you want.
Okay.
So like there's a tart shell. And then inside there's like a hazelnut frangipane. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like
Oh my god.
it's like a
Almond.
custard, but I use hazelnut instead.
Oh.
And then on top there's like a thin layer of like praline cream. And then above that cream there's like this crispy wafer. And then on top is like praline cream, yeah. And then so caramel comes in the form of the hazelnuts. So the hazelnuts are caramelized. Yeah. Now you can eat your dessert in peace without the shells.
So one thing that he said to me before we broke up, it was something like he was very unhappy about on like many different instances, that like I didn't stand up for myself. But then he said something along the lines of like, you know, you're weak-minded because like your body is so like frail or fragile. I don't think he meant it in like an accusing way necessarily. And I think like that somehow like stuck with me.
How did you like perceive it when he said it to you?
I think in that moment I was like, yeah, like I think I acknowledged it as a partial truth, in that like, yes, I am like fragile and frail looking bodily wise, but I don't accept the fact that like I'm weak-minded. That's like just something like weirdly clicked in another way, that like then I want to like nourish my body and like be strong.
That was the starting point?
Like
wow.
Must have been quite difficult though. I
Um,
mean, like, how do you go
difficult.
from like, you know, like once you go into like this recovery stage, but how do you not kind of fall back into like old habits, like stuff that you're like familiar with?
Mine is very powerful.
True.
It's like the whole arc, like it's just crazy. Like you think like you're being very in touch with your body, you're taking care of your body, but then it starts becoming numbers, right? It starts becoming like time to eat, you know, like numbers, like all these like meticulous control, planning, restriction, and then you lose sense of like when you're hungry, because you can really trick yourself into like just not being in touch with your bodily needs. Your gut also changes. So I was so used to like not eating like carbs, sugar, whatever for a very long time. So when you like reintroduce it, I had like so much like IBS and like like it was like physically painful, like not just like psychologically like disturbing. And then like I was starting to like exercise like healthily rather than like being like super extreme, and then like reconnecting like that interoceptive way of like knowing how your body like really moves in space rather than like just really exerting.
I think the mind-body connection is actually quite important. For me, I wasn't as familiar with like how my body, like you said, felt in spaces or how it actually moved. I have felt quite disconnected from my own body for like a while. Like sometimes, like you said, it's easy to like trick our bodies into like, you know, if you're like, oh, I want to become skinny, so I'll like cut. I think I went through a lot of phases as well, like cutting a lot of sugar, or like, feeling guilty if I ate like a smidge of like ice cream, and I'll just beat myself up the whole day. Yeah, so I went through so many like phases of that, and like you said, even exercising like unhealthily, like it was just kind of like non-stop, you know. Like, there was this like single image goal in mind, and like you just didn't listen to your body and like how it functions. So and then I can relate to that. Did you experience it? I saw you nodding silently.
I think I'm not completely out of it even until today. But in my case, I needed to do something about my health because I found out I have a condition that I really need to cut on sugar, right? Based on my research, it truly affected my relationship with food, like the guilt after eating. I even still have it. And even now, it kind of leads to binge eating sometimes. Once you fail to do it, like might as well, you know, just like eat what you want to eat and go overboard, and then let's try again tomorrow. Not so much about the ideal body shape or the norm and like beauty standard and all that for me, right? I wanted to be healthy. I really wanted to be healthy.
And I totally agree with you. I think like there's so much shame also because like people immediately imagine like, oh, it's because you want like an ideal body shape or whatever, and it's more than that. It really like how we stop like shaming ourselves, how we stop being like critical with ourselves is a work in progress.
I don't know, the modern life, is it us that overthink about things? I feel like our parents doesn't really care what I mean, in Indonesia you eat fried food every single day with the coconut milk, all the salt and sugar. They're fine. But when I tried to be healthy when I knew my condition, it kind of spiraled down after that. Mentally, that relationship. It's annoying because I love the food.
You gotta be more compassionate for yourself.
That's true. Yeah. That is very true. It's a happy story though. Like he kind of helped you to enter that phase to.
But it's kind of like a
get
byproduct,
better.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone intentionally wants to hurt anyone. And I think I've always thought of this question, like if you don't go through such painful experiences like that or suffering, can you still
Get
be
to
the
this
person
place.
that you are?
Good question. I actually think not. But maybe that's like really like sadistic and masochistic of me to
But
think
I think so too, actually.
What do you mean?
That I think that
You think the answer is like no.
no, I think that like if I didn't suffer, I wouldn't
Be here.
be. No, I
Like
wouldn't.
this, you will be
I wouldn't
a
be
kind
this
of different person.
Yeah, I wouldn't, maybe I wouldn't have like known.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have like been more self-aware
Yeah.
about my issues.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know actually. I think there's a lot of what ifs at play.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to think that growth is possible without pain and suffering.
Yes, because there are some things in life that are just inescapable, like death, like illness, you know, accidents, separation. I think all those things will grow you. And I think there is like a spectrum of people in terms of like whether you seek those experiences that grow you out, like, you know, like I think there are so many people who probably like can think of them already when like they're just like seeking safety, like they don't want to rock the boat, like let me just like maintain status quo as much as possible.
Yep.
Because, you know, to reach the edge of yourself is like really risky. But I think maybe I'm the kind of person who's more like I want to like I mean, which is the like the more masochistic part lah. Like I want to like I don't know the edges of myself yet, so I better like put myself there and like
threading
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing for sure that now I believe in myself. Like if I can get through that, then yeah, I'll be fine. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
You wouldn't die. You wouldn't feel like you
die. And then also realizing, acknowledging that everything is just temporary, right? One day you're very sad, one day you're very happy, one period of time you're content. Maybe next month I'll be a little depressed, but yeah, it doesn't really tell the rest of how my rest of my life will be, right? So keep being hopeful. Right now I feel like love is something that you can invest to and it can grow. I try now to invest that in many things that matters for me, and if it's a good investment, it will grow and I will have more love to invest somewhere else. What happened that time, I put it in one pocket and it turned to be a bad investment. It grew to be a bad investment. But also, yeah, when you go bankrupt doesn't mean that you cannot bounce back. Right? So yeah. Motto is like open heart, open eyes, open ears. See what this life can give you. So yeah, probably that. Don't know.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm inspired.
Cheers.
So lost connections.